It's me, Alex, and that's Chewy, and this will be my reading vlog for my 5th book of Shorty September. I have started Oh Pioneers by Will Cather right here. I briefly started it last night in bed, and I even listened along to the audiobook while I was reading just to try to really focus. Interesting because the audiobook narrator gives the dialogue I don't even know what kind, an accent that I would not have thought or associated. I don't know much about the demographic that would have been Nebraskan pioneers, so something to look up, learn. I like having, I guess, the historical context framework to back up, but this is going to be for the cargo shorts prompt of the readathon, which is like a book about nature. And so far, the landscape of the prairie is very much described, and I think that's a major point of the plot is homesteading on this prairie. So far, the writing style in that context reminds me of Frome by, oh my gosh, Edith Wharton, blanked, which I read last year for Shorty September and I loved. And that one takes place in New England in the winter, and so that atmosphere plays a large part into the stories and character motivations, and just the environment kind of affects their moods and actions. So I'm expecting that out of this one. This powerful early novel tells a story of a young Alexandra Bergson whose dying father leaves her in charge of the family and of the lands they have struggled to farm. In Alexandra's long fight to survive and succeed, Oh Pioneers relates an important chapter in the history of the American frontier. So this is very, very short. So hopefully it won't take me another full week to read. And while I'm lying here with the dogs, I may as well let you know, I did finish watching the Humphrey Bogart, well, it's not his adaptation, I forget who the director is, but Humphrey Bogart stars as Dick Steele in the adaptation of In a Lonely Place, which was the book I finished yesterday for the readathon. Movie was awful. I guess the characters' names were all the same and a woman was strangled in the beginning. That's the extent of it relating to the book. That's it. The book was so good. Reading the book was like watching a thrilling movie more than watching the movie was. The movie was more like reading a boring book. So, say it with me. The book was better than the movie. No one's surprised. No. Over here. Watch your hands on the, you gotta hold the higher part. Or just slide it, yeah.
Watch it these
Beep,
days.
beep. Reading chair. Hi, I'm driving, so I'm not gonna look at you. But I'm just leaving Oliver's baseball practice. Nate is there with him now. I am not very far into Oh Pioneers, but I'm loving it. It's really good. I'm totally getting that same time and place. Things are rough, but it's what we have feeling, that in a more positive way than I did with Ethan Frome. But it is reminding me of the book A Day No Pigs Would Die, which the sequel for that one is in my Shorty September Not a TBR stack. Thank you. And it's reminding me a lot of that book. Or actually, it's what I think the sequel will be like, because it's more of like the inheritance of a struggling farm story. Like the tone, I really like the writing, it's beautiful. I want to like underline things, and then I'm realizing, well, I would just be highlighting the whole freaking page. It's just on a sentence by sentence basis, it is beautiful. Other thing, I did Google like Scandinavian population in Nebraska. Yeah, turns out there's a huge Swedish population in Omaha, and I feel really stupid for not knowing that. Like, I am mad at myself for not having that context already, but like, when would I have known that? And also, I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense, because when you think about like, when you think Midwesterner, you think big, tall, blonde, and blue eyes, right? So like, of course, it's all coming together. And so I really appreciate that reading a fiction book, Shorty, is just bringing all sorts of historical awareness. And I love that. Okay, I'm gonna go sit in traffic. I listened to the audiobook for the drive home and while I was cooking of Oh Pioneers. And so there's a time jump, which was nice. Like, I think I would have been satisfied following the struggle of the family for longer. But then there's a time jump, and it kind of reminds me, I always do this. Everything is like, this reminds me of, like, I always have to like web all my reading experiences together. It's because I like making connections with like how books make me feel or like associate. I don't know. Long story short, it's reminding me of the Thorn birds. And I loved the Thorn birds, but that is not a shorty. So it is very enjoyable to have that same sort of rural family saga condensed into a shorty. So I don't always love time jumps because I'm a Cancer and I become so emotionally attached, and I don't like change. Time jumps sometimes, like in Pachinko, which jumps like often, like they make me sad. So yeah, this one, it goes from the family struggling and trying to decide, like, do we jump ship, sell the land, sell the farm? Alexandra wants to buy land, do the exact opposite. And she goes and scouts out a town nearby that's like 3 years more established, and she learns from them that the thing to do is like, so if there's a rich man who is willing to buy all these struggling farms, doesn't that tell you something? Like, and they're saying, oh, he can afford to take the risk, and she says, well, why can't we? So they mortgage their farm, buy more land, sell their livestock, and then it jumps forward, and her bet paid off, so that's nice to see, and that's where I'm at. I listened to more of the audiobook today, driving the kids to the dentist. They each had their headphones on and listened to the music on their iPad, so I listened to the audiobook. Who would have thought that such a tiny little book would get me so agitated? So Alexandra was the child that on his deathbed the father knew would like have the best sense of his kids, and he says like, I wish it could have been one of my sons, but at least it's one of my kids has a good head on their shoulders and just like a knack for business and thinking things through. So she is the reason that they got through the hard times that everyone else in the community was going through, that like she saw the opportunity in buying land, and like now they are quite wealthy. And when the brothers married, they split up the homestead. Well, now, you know, years later, where she's not 19 anymore, she's 40, her brothers are coming at her like, I mean, we worked hard and women shouldn't be in business and we always listened to you because we thought you had sense. And it was just so infuriating. And I'm like, okay, what year is this? My best estimation is that this is right around turn of the century. Which also, so I'm reading this for the cargo shorts prompt, which is nature writing, and there is just beautiful land description. Alexandra loves the land that she's on. And then just the detail and atmosphere is very beautifully captured. But when I was, you know, making my stack of books that could work throughout the readathon, I was thinking it could also maybe be a book I regret, so the play suit shorts. And the reason I thought that, I'm making lunch, grilled cheese for the kids. The reason I thought I could potentially regret reading this was knowing that they're pioneering, or, you know, the title is Oh Pioneers. I thought, you know, maybe they would be breaking land, and that is native territory, and they would have that conflict with native inhabitants of the land. Not the case at all. I think at one point she's traveling to another town and like she mentions, was it Blackfoot? Maybe Blackfoot land, like over that way. And that's it. So, I think with it being early 1900s, I think it's already pretty established that the natives have been pushed out. So I don't have to read about, there's no negativity on the page towards the natives. I mean, we all know what happened, but that's not a part of the story. And there's not going to be like a Little House on the Prairie situation where there's derogatory or negative writing about natives. So, no regrets.
Couldn't make it all the way through without a slur for a Native American. But in the context, I don't think it was meant badly, but still. The language was used.
So someone in the story was sick, and I'm reading the symptoms, and I'm like, I bet it's this, and it was that. I should have been a doctor. Okay, I finished Oh Pioneers, and I'm gonna sign off here in my bathroom because I love this shower curtain and I want that to be my backdrop. Why not? I don't know that I liked the ending. So I had a feeling it, like, there has to be tragedy, right? Something awful has to happen in books like this. And so there is. and a man does something, right? A man takes a violent action, and the woman gets blamed. Like, really blamed, and even Alexandra blames her for it. So that, like, reading the whole ending had me like, seriously? Really? That's like, she should have been a better feminist than that, given her own personal history and family role. She should have been a better feminist, but she wasn't. Yeah, I really liked it. I'm not sure what I'm going to read next. I think I'm going to go ahead and make some more progress in Hamnet, because I never finished that. That kind of got put aside for Shorty September purposes. I'm at the part in Hamnet where Hamnet has died, so I don't have very much left in it. So I'm not sure what my next Shorty will be, but yeah, that's it for O Pioneers, and I will see you next time. Bye.